the all-new sports show presented by Roger G. Taylor and Associates. Booyah.
Dogs coming on a blitz. A nice pickup. Green gets rid of it and caught on the deflection. Put 6 on the board, Knight fans. That is a touchdown.
And it is caught by number 20, Malik Williams. And he breaks free. He's going. One man to beat. It's a touchdown.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the All New Sports Show, where tonight we will try to be as cool as the other side of the pillow. I'm Wes Bradshaw. He's Ed Green, and folks, we welcome you tonight, January 4th, 2015, the first show of the new year. And Ed, as you alluded to a little bit in the open, Stuart Scott passing away today. For us, obviously, he wasn't quite on our level of awesome television showness by any means. But Stuart Scott, we are all kind of in that in that fraternity.
Yeah, he was obviously went to Carolina. Got one of his starts at WRAL. So he is from our area. He's one of ours. He came back and hosted Late Night with Roy, the Carolina basketball late night thing, a bunch of times. He was one of those first next generation Sports Center anchors. Him, Rich Eisen, Kenny Mayne, all of them came up at the same time.
And those are the guys that made it okay for you to have fun and do sports.
Yes. Yeah.
They so blame them now, folks. Blame them. It's their fault that Edward and I do what we do. Yeah. But Stuart Scott, he will definitely be missed on the sports landscape going forward. But okay, folks, let's pick this one up tonight. It's Ed, it's Wes, we're back. Fully, the whole team is now back from international break. Edward back from the African Cup of Nations.
Yes.
Yes, I came back a little early because I'm an England guy. We got eliminated very early, so I got to come back early. You always get
eliminated earlier in the African Cup of Nations.
But yeah, the African Cup of Nations, you always stay out late. So, but we are back, folks. The international break has come to an end. We can now officially tell people where we were. I was in international waters.
I was in Brazil.
Nobody broke in our houses. Good times.
Yes.
Good times. They wouldn't have found anything in mine anyway.
Sure.
But folks,
that's a very sweet Capital One. I'm sorry, Carlin.
Oh, you're not kidding about that. They would have got a sweet Carlin Cup poster, my PlayStation 3, and my big TV on the wall.
I took my book of Zlatan with me. Nobody was getting that.
Thank God you had your most prized possession close by.
It was.
Folks, we are back. Gary the Raven sitting in front of us. Oh, he's such a nice fella. He's still in a festive mood, or is he hungover?
I know it's his Rambo style bandana.
Okay, his eyes are a little glassy. Maybe that's just from my side.
One of his eyes is glassy.
I'm just glad the other one has been taken out pirate style. But anyway, so glad to have Gary back this week. No Clint Williams for you, folks.
No, sorry.
You're welcome. But we do welcome you back, Edward. I did a quite suboptimally mediocre job last week of putting us over.
I'm sure you did.
But I did the best I could, so now I'm gonna let you do it old school style.
I'm sure you did it about as well as I did on the podcast when we ended. If you want to get in touch with us on the social medias, you can get up with us on Twitter at All New Sports Show. That's our collective. He's at Wes Bradshaw 21. I'm at Edward Green. You can also find us on Facebook, facebook.com/All New Sports Show. On Instagram, we're All New Sports Show. You can go on YouTube for our official channel where you can catch all our videos. That's youtube.com/The All New Sports Show. And of course, you can email us allnewsportsshow@gmail.com. And please send your letters and parcels to 1701 Sunset Avenue, Suite 201, Rocky Mount, North Carolina, 27804. Still time to get a Christmas present in.
Live animals always accepted.
Not.
Especially if they meow.
Don't listen to him last week.
Lie. Nothing but the truth.
Lie.
Lie. Never lie. Folks, we have got a special one on tap for you today. Now, on to
Yes.
national news because
Wow.
we have no
So
local
fast.
news. Since last week, no one's played basketball.
Yeah.
No one's actually back to school, so literally this was a week to just chill. And while I say no one played basketball, I'm sure someone played somewhere,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I just don't
Nobody
know.
signed with anybody?
Nobody saw anybody?
I don't think
No,
so.
I don't think so. I once again reaffirm my commitment, my long-standing commitment to the University of Miami. Still haven't heard back from anyone.
You still got 4 years of eligibility.
Oh, I do. I've got all 4 years of eligibility left. I just need somebody to take that chance on a 32-year-old, soon to be 33-year-old defensive
I
lineman.
think, you know what? I think the dream's over, though.
Who hates to run?
I think you need to give up that dream, and you need to start putting in your letter for coach.
I think I could be
Next head coach
pretty
from
quick,
Miami?
pretty quick candidate.
You know
right
what?
there.
You know what? You're not wrong.
If most Miami fans had it their way, I believe I would be a candidate in the running.
I would pay for season tickets if that happened.
Oh, well, live body, not named Al Golden. We'll take it at this point.
Yes.
We will take it. Folks, we are going to talk a little bit of college football with us, where we're going to talk about the big college football playoff game that happened in the Rose Bowl.
Yes. There was only one.
There was only one.
There was only one playoff game. I don't know why.
Producer Des, put that finger down. No.
Is it bad that I checked out of the second half of the Sugar Bowl?
Yes. This is a very entertaining football game.
It's just like, I'm done.
So,
I had a full day of football.
you just knew Alabama had it, right? That was it. No one beat Saban when he's had a month to prepare.
Yeah, that's what we said. That's what we said.
We're going to get into the college football playoff. We're going to talk to you a little bit about these things called the NFL playoffs.
Yes. So we do have to mention. Thanks, Joe. We do want to introduce our new audience that comes to us
Absolutely.
from
Thank you,
Fox.
Joe.
Since swinging it on over to us here at the Only Sports Show now that Sunday Night Football, obviously they couldn't keep up with us, so they're done.
They didn't want the ratings.
They packed up and went home. So they needed
We
big dogs
won
work.
the Sunday night's war.
We did. It was basically a war of attrition.
Now, apparently they're gonna mount an offensive. NBC plans to mount an offensive starting in September next year, but we'll be ready for that one. Don't you worry, folks. So big thank you, Joe. I knew those concussions for Troy would come in handy sooner or later. If I just kept sending them letters,
Yes.
I knew the concussions would come in handy.
Yep.
Thank you guys for sending this huge live audience over to us. We're going to talk about the NFL playoffs, and the best part about the NFL playoffs, haven't heard of anyone being arrested this week in the NFL.
So far. Got 3 hours and 52 minutes left.
Anyone see what Ndamukong Suh did today? I didn't.
He was fine.
He's fine?
So far.
As in he was fine or he was fined?
First one.
Okay.
He might get fined after the game.
Yeah, he might. You never know. They'll suspend him for next week. Cowboy fans, you're laughing with me. Clint Williams, you're not.
Or is he?
Where is he? And then, of course, folks, we're going to, since it's a special night, we might even extend your best minute of the week to maybe 3 minutes
I have a
of
lot
the
to
week.
talk about.
I have a lot of sadness to talk about. A lot of sadness in my heart over the footy world. But anyway, Ed,
Yeah.
what should we start with?
I guess we start with college football.
Sport of Kings.
Yes.
And by Kings, I mean Jim Harbaugh because he's going to make a Kings ransom.
Oh.
But as the new head
Yes.
coach of the Michigan
How about
Wolverines,
that?
Jim Harbaugh, if you happen to listen to the All New Sports Show, the podcast found on
Not Spotify. Podbean.com, the iTunes Music Store, and Stitcher Radio.
That's right. If you listen to that, you would have heard my theory
Mm-hmm.
about where the Georgia Bulldogs should have fired Mark Richt and gone in full bore, double
Yes.
barrels blazing
Yes.
for Jim Harbaugh. But instead, Georgia went the total opposite way. They gave Mark Richt an extension.
Yay.
And 10-win season.
9-3. 9-3.
Every once in a while, 10-2.
Every once in a
10-2. But
Good-
10-2,
good
I mean, where he holds his hands.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. They had a good bowl game. Slow clap that one out.
Big Shop looks really good, though.
Yeah, but they'll blow it.
Yeah. Oh.
They'll blow it.
The easily winnable SEC West.
Georgia
SEC.
looking for a new offensive coordinator now after one of my most hated people in the world, Mike Bobo, finally left.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, all Mike Bobo had to do this year, Georgia would have played for a national title, I'm telling you.
Yes.
If
No,
he
you're
had just
right.
given Ty Gurley the ball against South Carolina,
Yeah.
we wouldn't have had this problem. The Dogs would have rolled, sick 'em, woof, woof, and the Dogs are playing for the national title.
They would have
No
beaten
charges would have ever come against Ty Gurley. The knee would have stayed intact. Everything in the world changed on Mike Bobo's horrendous decision to not give Ty Gurley the ball on fourth down.
So where did he go?
Colorado State.
Oh, the head
Yeah, Jim McElwain, the new coach at Florida.
Yes. Yes.
I know you missed a lot when you were down
All
south.
circular.
That's cool.
That's fine.
That's cool. I'm holding on to you. But yes, so it's Jim Harbaugh, the big new name, and he was on the sidelines of the Ravens Steelers game last night.
He was cheering
He
on
was
his brother
there.
John.
That's right. Big win. Go Ravens. They're back, baby. Yes. Gary.
Oh,
enjoy
so
the
do you
game.
become an NFL fan again now?
I've always been a Ravens fan. I just wait till something's good to go on.
Yeah.
I just wait till the regular season's over and
There
start
you
to
go.
carry again.
That's the way to do it.
But Harbaugh going to Michigan, that creates really a crazy setup.
Big Ten needed it.
Oh, they did need it because, you did not want the Big Ten. Well, the Big Ten didn't want to turn into Urban and the 47, or however many teams they have now, Urban and the Dwarves. And by bringing in Harbaugh, that means that you're going to get one of the classic historical rivalries in this country, Michigan, Ohio State. You're going to get those two now. You would assume they're going to be going head to head for some of the top recruits in the country.
Oh, absolutely.
And you've got to assume with his track record, Jim Harbaugh is going to turn Michigan back into a powerhouse.
And all you got to do, if you're John Harbaugh or Jim Harbaugh, you just got to walk into somebody's home and say, you know what? I went to 3 straight NFC Championship games. I went to a Super Bowl. I turned Alex Smith into a good quarterback. I took Colin Kaepernick into a good quarterback. I think I know what it takes to play in the NFL. If you come to Michigan, you'll learn too.
And guess where else I won? This little place called Stanford.
Oh, yeah. I just went to the Rose Bowl at Stanford.
Where not many people win, and I pantsed Pete Carroll back-to-back years.
Yes, he did.
I pantsed Pete Carroll as a 41-point underdog in the Coliseum.
So great.
So,
Oh, my God.
I'm Jim Harbaugh, and I know what the heck I'm doing.
Yeah, Jim
Which Brady
Harbaugh
Hoke
won
couldn't
my
do.
adoration for life. Like, he can't do any wrong. Like, he could come up and cuss me out tomorrow and be like, oh, my God, I love that man.
And he would just be asking you to, pull up a few inches so he could get to the McDonald's drive-thru or something. But he'd be wearing some sweet khakis.
Yes, he would.
But Harbaugh there, that really creates a power setup. Once again, Michigan and Ohio State, they are the classic teams of the Big Ten anyway.
Yes.
And now you get Michigan maybe coming back in. And, when Michigan is at their best, they recruit the South well.
Yes,
That's really what college football's turned into now. These Big Ten teams, these northern teams, they have to come south. They have to come to Florida. They have to come to Georgia.
Texas.
And that's right, Texas. And Michigan actually also has kind of a back history of dipping into California player to player. Tom Brady.
He's pretty good.
Tom Brady. So, you are a national recruiting player at Michigan. It's just really, Lloyd Carr was just old.
Yeah.
All right, he was just old. Rich Rodriguez,
It was crazy.
yeah, he was just legitimately crazy. And Brady Hoke looked like a homeless guy who lived down the corner. I really can't figure out why they hired Brady Hoke. But Jim Harbaugh immediately is going to make Michigan a player,
Absolutely.
a big-time player. So that's one to definitely keep your eye on. Moving into the bowl games now, let's just hit the ones that really matter to us, Ed.
The Birmingham Bowl, obviously.
Okay, let's move on to the next one that really matters to us. No, the Birmingham Bowl, of course, happened just yesterday. East Carolina, University of Florida, in what was really turned out to be a good football game to watch.
28-20.
At the end of the day, when you break down talent, East Carolina should not have won that football game.
Probably.
That said, East Carolina had every opportunity in the world to win that football game and just did not take advantage. Of course, the ball game basically ended on a Pirate interception in the end zone. Kind of an inauspicious way to end the
There was
Shane
double
Carden.
coverage.
Yeah, brilliant throw by Carden. But kind of an inauspicious way for Carden to end his career. But Justin Hardy goes out with a huge game. I believe 11 or 12 catches in that one. Had a touchdown, had a sweet gator chomp. Maybe came back and beat him a little bit later.
Oops.
But anyway.
Save that one for the end.
As for East Carolina, now don't forget, this is a preview of, I believe, September 12th.
Yes.
When the Pirates head to the Swamp to take on the Gators to kick off the season next year.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
We had this discussion one time.
Yeah, we totally got to figure out scheduling. But anyway.
Yeah. But it is scheduled for September 12th. You are correct.
That's right. So it will be an early season game. Maybe an opener. Maybe not. We'll see. But East Carolina heading down to Florida, and what will be, for East Carolina fans at least, a big time rematch here in East Carolina. Florida fans will be like, oh, okay, we're starting our schedule. God, didn't we just play these guys?
Yes.
Okay, whatever. Let's go get arrested.
Yes.
Let's go get arrested. Let's go beat somebody up and get arrested.
You know, I asked you though
Yes.
on the text, and I asked you because you are a bit of an East Carolina fan.
Oh, yeah.
I asked you a question, legitimately, without being a hater.
Go ahead.
Was East Carolina's season actually good? Was this actually a good East Carolina team when you really when you look, because I know there was a lot of excitement. There was a very good start. There was you beat two halves of the ACC in your non-conference.
The Coastal.
Yes, exactly. You beat Virginia Tech. You beat North Carolina. You play South Carolina really tough. And then everything kind of fell apart after Temple. You had the very crazy UCF loss at the end. I also think a loss to Cincinnati somewhere in there.
Right.
Then you lose in the bowl game. So my question became, once you look at the whole thing, was East Carolina actually like a good team, or are they just a little? Are they pretty good? And you took one stance, I took another, so you can go for it.
Well, the way I put it, I think for about 6 weeks they were a above average good football team. Mm-hmm. The first 6 weeks of the season, when they played South Carolina was coming off a loss to Texas A&M, who we thought was really good at that time too. And then the week after, South Carolina goes to Athens and beats the Georgia Bulldogs. Once again, because Mike Bobo won't give Ty Gurley the football, and he said, "Okay, back off of that." So you lose that game in close fashion. Mm-hmm. You turn around, you're playing a Virginia Tech team that's coming off a win in Columbus, a 2-touchdown win in Columbus over an Ohio State team that we now know is freaking good, and they're playing for a national title. Mm-hmm. You get a big win there, and then you play a North Carolina team that, for whatever you want to say about them, they're explosive.
Yes.
And East Carolina hangs like record-breaking numbers on them.
The defense was really bad.
Yeah, defense was really bad. But I mean, still, you got to do something right to hang 70 on people. And then, after that, 2 kind of lackluster wins. Mm-hmm. But I just think at that point, East Carolina was a good football team. And then they went to Temple, and everything just completely came apart for them. They had just a horrendous game. One of the worst games I've ever seen East Carolina team play against Temple in terms of putting the football on the ground. And toward the second half of the season, penalties, turnovers, just absolutely decimated East Carolina. Yeah. So for what I say, for 6 weeks, I think they were a good football team. Okay. End of the season, not so much.
I think the answer, I think they were the team that's somewhere in between. Mm-hmm. I don't think they were as great as the team that beat Virginia Tech and beat Carolina, and I don't think they were as bad as the team that lost to Temple. Mm-hmm. The answer is somewhere in the middle. I think they were a pretty good football team. I think they were maybe top 40.
I would say that. I would say they were definitely one of your upper echelon. They were a, as we enjoy soccer, they were a top half of the table team.
Yes.
They were not a bottom half. They were a top half. This is also a team that they did have injuries, but everybody in college football has injuries.
Like Ohio State.
Yeah, Ohio State. Whatever. The secondary was exposed for being just vomitously bad. Offensive line had its ups and downs throughout the year. The quarterback play was exceptional this year. I'm going to say it. Overall, Cardin was exceptional. Justin Hardy was an All-American. Mm-hmm. Should have been All-American.
I think I'll look it up. He was on some team. I think he was second team.
Yeah, he was somewhere there. I believe should have been a finalist for the Biletnikoff. The guy put up just astronomical numbers, and he made plays. It wasn't just 5-yard dump-offs. Yeah. That was the big thing. He was making plays all over the field. But for whatever it's worth, Zeke Biggers, very good linebacker. East Carolina has parts. East Carolina's actually bringing back a pretty freaking good team next year as well. So I don't believe we have seen the best of what Ruffin McNeil has to offer at East Carolina.
13.
Hey, there you go. He deserved everything he got there. So I believe it's a team. I believe it's a program trending upward. Okay. We'll use that. Trending upward.
Trending upward. All right. Let's then talk about the 2 playoff games then.
Go for it.
Let's talk about the Rose Bowl. Obviously a big win, 59-20, I believe. Oregon beats Florida State, unless they just scored again. I'm not sure. Oregon.
It's just fumble again.
Yeah. It was actually close for a while, close at the half.
Oh man, I thought it was a very well matched up game.
And then Oregon just took advantage of every Florida State mistake, which is basically something no other team did this year. And I remember I even texted you at one point during the game, and it was like, I know we have to take undefeated teams in the playoff, but really would have loved to have seen TCU in this.
I feel.
No
matter what that final score said, I believe it was an aberration that it was that big. I believe if they play 10 times, you don't see that blowout in nearly every game. I think that game is more like what we saw in the first half, where those two, they're tight. Those are two fantastic football teams. Florida State, at the end of the day, did not have the mental toughness.
No.
When it really, and you would have figured the way their season went that they had it because they had come back so many times.
They had to.
But the problem that we ended up seeing was the reason they were losing those football games is because they felt that they could flip the switch whenever they wanted to. And once Oregon punched them back in the mouth, Oregon was the first team all year that was on an equal talent base with Florida State.
Yep.
Florida State was used to just being able to say, okay, you know, we're bored, we're down 6, we're going to flex our muscle, pop 3 touchdowns on you, and, you know, we're just going to beat you in the fourth quarter. When Oregon, who was just as talented, maybe a little quicker, maybe better coached.
Yeah.
And,
yes.
And definitely had a quarterback with a much shorter rap sheet. I can guarantee you that one. When those guys punched Florida State in the mouth, I believe Herbstreit actually said on the broadcast, well, eventually he said Florida State's quit. He did say that. You know, he was very vocal with his
and a lot of their
criticism
players quit after the game and didn't decide shaking.
Well, they did. That was a little overblown. I'll get on that in a second.
Okay.
But you can see Florida State, you know, we used to talk about it. B.W. Holt would talk about it.
Oh, yeah.
B.W. Holt said, we're going to punch people in the mouth. In the fourth quarter, they're going to hang their heads, and we're going to run right through you.
Yes.
And you saw that kind of metaphorical moment where Florida State was hanging their heads, and Oregon cut through them like a hot knife through butter. And, I mean, once Florida State got on their back foot, they had no next punch. They had nothing to come back at Oregon with. And you figure the guy who's your, you know, All-American Heisman winning quarterback, you figure he's the guy who's going to lead you and say, guys, it's time to calm down and do what we got to do, Marcus Mariota. But instead, Jameis Winston gets into a verbal argument with his head coach on the sideline.
Very giftable.
Which, I mean, it just shows everything about Jameis Winston.
That kind of thing does happen. There have been times when coaches and quarterbacks yell at each other. It happens.
Yeah.
The thing is, Jimbo Fisher has been so overly protective with Jameis Winston throughout this entire thing that as soon as it became like, no, you got to shut up or I'm going to bench you, I believe there may have been an extra word in there somewhere that I can't say.
Fudge?
Yeah, that's what it was. I don't think Winston really knew how to respond to that and just kept getting madder and madder. And where you say Mariota kept his cool, let his team stay in the game, and then lead the attack in that second half, I think Winston just completely lost his composure. And when he said he couldn't do it anymore, that's where you see the difference, and that's the moment. There have been moments during the year. There's been the rap sheet, like you said. There's been all these things. There's been some poor throws this year. This was the moment that every NFL executive should have looked at and said, is he coachable? Because I think for a while that might have been an overblown subplot. In that moment, I don't think it was anymore.
Well, you know, I know your opinions of Colin Cowherd. You're not a fan.
It's true.
But, you know, Colin Cowherd has said over the years, as I am a fan of him, he has said over the years, give me the quarterback give me the cerebral quarterback. The guy who can make throws. He said, I don't have to have the physical freak. Give me the guy who can keep his cool when the pressure's turned up. Give me the guy who can calm down all the guys around him. And that's the guy I want to lead my team.
So early 2000s Tom Brady.
Exactly. Well, of course, you know, Colin's a big Tom Brady lover. Loves the Brady. But, you know, that was the guy that you need. And, I mean, I'm still blown away that NFL people are looking at him as a top 3 pick. Yeah. I mean, that just boggles my mind. In what is a pretty recognized weak quarterback draft, there's no way I want that guy with it. If I had any problems with Johnny Manziel,
oh gosh,
I don't want Jameis Winston in the same state as any team I'm coaching. I don't care if I coach, you know, the 49ers. If I'm the Chargers, I just don't want them in the state. So to me, and that's what really blew up also the post-game, the handshake deal, was when you're Florida State this year and there is so much criticism and so many eyes on you, anything you do out of the ordinary, is going to garner you more criticism. Did you hear about Alabama after the football game? Because Alabama basically did the same thing. And it's not so much, it's not a lack of respect, but after games like that, a lot of times emotions are running so high that you're asking 19-year-old kids, yes, they should have stayed out and shook hands, but their natural reaction is to just, I need to go somewhere and, not deal with this right now. I don't think it was a lack of sportsmanship by Florida State. I think there should have been a coach. Somewhere saying, no, just go out, just stay out for a couple minutes, just, make this look good. Nobody took that responsibility.
Shocking.
But, like we said, it really blew up because it was Florida State, and everything was going to crap, and Herb Street saw it, and Herb Street commented on it. Alabama did the same thing. And no one's calling Alabama classes. So, but anyway, Oregon, much the better team. I believe I said on our show, I felt Florida State was going to find some gimmicky way to win the football game.
Did.
But Oregon completely took care of that, took the gimmick out of play, and Oregon just dominated. And I did say Oregon was the better football team.
Yes, you did. We both did.
So I said Oregon was the better football team. I just figured Florida State. I figured that horseshoe would find somewhere. Instead, it fell out of Jameis's butt when he was down at the half-yard line.
When he got RKO'd.
There you go. When he got RKO'd out of nowhere. Good to see Randy Orton back. But anyway, so there's our Rose Bowl recap.
Sugar Bowl. Ohio State won.
Yep. All right.
So now who are we going to take? I think I have to take Oregon.
Oregon is your definite money favorite. 7-point favorite as the lines opened. Everything in the world tells you Oregon should win. Of course, everything in the world told you Alabama should win.
Here's the thing. It's Ohio State was playing in a semifinal. They weren't playing in a national champion.
You're right.
Big Ten wasn't playing in the national championship yet.
Here's my difference, though. Urban Meyer, who literally is on my Stalin Hitler list. Urban Meyer's got 2 rings already. Yeah. Urban Meyer knows what it takes to go. Ohio State and Oklahoma. Oklahoma, of course. But Urban Meyer knows what to do in this situation. The young man at Oregon, Mark Helfrich, I believe I said that right. Helfrich, somewhere in there. Yeah. Like 5 years ago, this guy was like the offensive coordinator at like a Division II school, and now you're coaching against Urban Meyer for a national championship. Oregon has a speed advantage. Now that has been closed, by the way. And folks, I'm going to admit, I'm saying this. I've not watched much Ohio State this year.
Shocking.
Ohio State impressed the living crap out of me. Those guys can run. Those receivers are good. And their third quarterback, who might I add, actually tweeted this year that college football players should not be required to go to class. Somewhere that tweet was in there, just a typical Ohio State tweet, because he probably didn't go to class anyway. No. Not that I speculate.
Eligibility.
Not that we speculate on this show. Never do. Ohio State's going to give them problems. And here's the other deal. Ohio State's not going to quit.
No.
They will not quit. This is not Florida State. You're probably looking at a team about as talented as Florida State. Maybe not quite, but about as talented.
Better coached.
Much better coached, much more disciplined. I think this game comes down to the fourth quarter. I'm picking Oregon to win just because I'd rather singe off my own eyebrows than pick Ohio State to win. I think it's going to be closer. I think Oregon wins, but do not cover.
I think Oregon wins and covers barely because they like to go for 2, so I think they win by 8.
Okay. All right, I'm calling by 4. So, that's right. 10-6.
Yeah.
Offense is dead, folks. Trust me, offense is dead in football.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the team that put up 59. Yeah.
Held to 10. The team that put up 40-something held to 6.
Yeah. That'll happen.
Toads.
Sure. Toads.
It'll be Mage. All right. Real quick, Ed, NFL.
It happened.
It happened.
I apologize to anybody who watched the Carolina-Arizona game yesterday. It's your fault, though. You knew what was going on.
But what was funny, Ohio State's down to their third-string quarterback. What's your excuse, Arizona?
That Ryan Lindley isn't better than the third quarterback at Ohio State.
I really don't think he is either.
That's the difference.
That's right. Panthers getting a win. They're first Since the Super Bowl run.
No,
No?
2005, I believe, that was the year when they beat Chicago,
Mm-hmm.
won a wild card game, beat Chicago, and then went to Seattle and lost the NFC Championship game.
Gotcha.
That was
gotcha,
the Pittsburgh
gotcha,
Seattle
gotcha.
Super Bowl year.
Gotcha. Okay, so
They had
Panthers
lost
first
to
time in a long
Arizona.
time.
Yeah, they had lost to Arizona in a divisional game.
That's right.
In 2009, I believe. That was the end of Jake Delhomme's career game. And then they lost last year to San Francisco in the divisional round. So now they'll be heading to the divisional round and headed back up to Seattle.
That's right. Cam did his Cam thing that he usually does. He's just a swell guy, just a great guy for you young athletes at home to emulate. Find the bag man. Find the bag man.
I will give him credit. He is obviously not 100%, and he's.
Credit.
Well, I know you won't, but he all things considering, he had to deal with a car wreck. He has all this other stuff. To perform at his level, he's actually
a
doing
player.
really, really well.
He's a
You know what? He's not quitting.
He's not quitting.
He's not gonna quit.
He's not Jameis. No. So for me, he's above Jameis, but he's still more on the Terrell Pryor line for me.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah,
Which means you're
right.
not in my Hitler list anymore, but you're kind of like my
Is Terrell Pryor only on your list because he went to Ohio State?
who's that? Terrell Pryor?
Yeah.
I can't stand Terrell Pryor.
Okay.
Yeah, it had a lot to do with his Ohio
Okay.
State tenure.
I didn't know.
Things happen when you go to Ohio State. I just don't care for you. The only one I still care for, my man Tyquan Lewis, has a chance to win a ring
There
this
you go.
week. I'm not doing it. Sorry. Anyway, sorry, my folks.
Baltimore beats Pittsburgh.
Boom! Charm City bat, baby. Ball so hard.
Terrell sucks.
One
like
of
the catch
the
balls.
one of the greatest interceptions
That's
I've
awesome.
ever seen. It's just like, of course, anyone to do that is going to be Terrell Suggs after talking so much trash.
Yes.
I'll tell you, folks,
Baltimore looks really good. I think they could beat New England.
done
I
it before.
really do.
We've done it before.
Yes.
And right now, who bets against Joe Flacco on the road in the
He's
playoffs?
won 5 straight games. 5 straight playoff games.
And 5 straight games with a QB rating over 100.
Yeah.
He's good.
He found the switch.
He is a total switch quarterback.
Yes.
Baltimore's such a switch team. It's like, oh, we're in the playoffs. Okay, let's go win the Super
Can
Bowl.
Baltimore sign Carmel Pollard? One game.
Bernard, bring it back, baby.
One game, Bernard.
Bring it back. And then, of course, today, Indianapolis
Yes.
getting a big win over Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Saw a great meme and said Andy Dalton, as many playoff wins as he has souls. And if you watch South Park, you know what I mean.
If you watch this show enough, you'll know what we mean.
That's right. So Indianapolis moving on. Cro-Magnon man, a.k.a. Andrew Luck, moving on to the second round. He gets to go to Denver.
Hey.
Wow, Luck and Manning. The NFL loves their storylines, don't they?
Not that we would ever suggest.
No, the NFL would never rig anything.
No, especially not after the Dallas game today.
No.
We would never.
No.
It was, you might say it was a little match fixy. Just a little match fixy. No, don't want to implicate anybody.
It looks Texas especially. Texas A&M, home of the 12th man.
Yep.
Today in Dallas, the 12th man was a little yellow cloth.
Yes.
But anyway, that's final one. Cowboys. How about them Cowboys?
I have a feeling this game's going to be talked about for a while.
Cowboys beat the Lions 24-20. Clint Williams doesn't know whether to celebrate or to cry. It's kind of how I feel every day of my life, but whatever. So I'm awake. Oh God, I'm awake. Anyway, Dallas getting a win. They move on to face Green Bay next week. So your slate for next week: Carolina at Seattle, Dallas at Green Bay. That's your NFC slate. In the AFC, Baltimore heading to Beantown to take on New England. And as we just said, Andrew Luck and the Colts heading to Denver to take on
Peyton
what's
Manning?
his face?
Peyton Manning?
Peyton Manning. Never heard of him. Maybe once or twice.
He might be pretty good.
Yeah, I think I might have seen him on TV once or twice somewhere.
I have.
Probably just in the background or something. Take on Peyton Manning
Papa John's
and
commercial.
the Broncos. It's Joe Montana. Best linebacker I've seen since Joe Montana. Okay. Yeah,
You want to do 60 seconds of soccer?
I do. Do we have a graphic?
Do we have a graphic?
Clinton wouldn't let me use the graphic last week.
Really?
He was mean.
Tell me where. Point on the Raven where he touched you.
Let's go to the tape.
Yeah, let's do 60 seconds of soccer. I missed it.
I wouldn't do that to you, Gary.
No.
No, Gary.
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 Gareth.
Gary Neville. All right, folks, time for 60 seconds of soccer.
I'm not even going to have a time.
We'll actually do about 120 seconds before we go to our extended Bishop's Corner. Yeah. Anyway, Ed, let me start.
Okay.
Let me get my sorrow out.
Sure.
Where do I begin the sorrow? First, somehow on New Year's Day, Liverpool decides to go up 2-0 on Leicester City. That's the way we're told to say it by the English. I've never said it wrong in my life. Liverpool goes up 2-0 on one penalty that never was. One penalty that was. Captain Stevie G, I think he's going to play forever at Liverpool. Stevie G scores both goals on the penalty. Everything's looking good. And then it's not anymore.
3 minutes.
Leicester decides to score 2 goals in the span of about a minute and a half, about 90 seconds. And they end up coming out of Anfield with a 2-2 draw. 2 very crucial points dropped by Liverpool. Literally less than 24 hours since I had earlier told you on the podcast. Liverpool have a chance. They just have to play a perfect second half.
No longer perfect second half.
No longer perfect second half. And then just because, we need another kick in the barnacles down on Merseyside. The captain, the legend, the 16-year face of Liverpool, Steven Gerrard, who, if you folks at home don't know, has been described by Zinedine Zidane. I'm sure you know who that is if you don't know who Steven Gerrard
You remember the 2006 World Cup?
The guy who headbutted the eye tie. That's who it was. Zidane has actually described him at one time as the best player in the world. Maybe not, but he was definitely for a good period of time there in the mid 2000s. He was a top 10 player in the world. Some would argue a top 5 player.
One of
in
the
world.
best midfielders ever.
One of the best midfielders ever. One of the best players in Premier League history. Yeah. Steven Gerrard has announced he will not re-sign with Liverpool after the season. 34 years old. He has also said he will not sign for another English club because he will never pull on the shirt against Liverpool. Oh,
Unless
God
they
bless
guess
you.
they come over here to play American teams.
That would be awesome, by the way. He will be signing elsewhere. Has not come out and confirmed anything yet. The big unconfirmed rumor going around that he is on his way to the United States to potentially play for LA Galaxy. Who have lost. Have lost one of their 3. What was it? They're called designated players.
Yes.
They had 3 of them. One of them. Republic of Ireland striker, former Liverpool teammate Robbie Keane, and one was Landon Donovan, who has just retired, so that opens up a slot at LA Galaxy. I would absolutely love to see Stevie G come to the United States. It would be a reason for me to watch MLS, because I don't really care for MLS.
No, you don't.
But that would be a reason for me to watch, and I could get my sweet Herbalife for life Stevie G Galaxy shirt in size
You
extra.
would look resplendent in it.
Extra medium.
It has stripes, so you're good.
Oh, down.
I think it's
Crap! I'm fat. Go ahead.
5-3. Spurs, for only the 4th time in the Premiership, beat Chelsea at home.
You do remember we were looking at 93 and they're in the Premiership and Chelsea finished like 17 and you can beat them then?
Yeah.
Of course, you finished 18 there.
Yeah, exactly.
You finished 17, they finished 16.
Yeah.
So.
But we beat him. We beat Jose Mourinho's side. We sent him scurrying into the locker room before the half was over.
Angry little Portuguese!
The man who was quickly becoming the face of England, the face of the Premier League, Harry Kane. He's only 21 years old. Scored a brace against Chelsea. Also drew a penalty that went to the 3rd goal for Spurs on the night. And what a night at White Hart Lane it was. Again, this is a Spurs team who has turned it around since the beginning of the year. And they are playing with a purpose. They are playing with pace. They're doing something I never thought I'd say Spurs were doing. They're playing some attractive football right now. But right now, this team is just looking on the up. And now Nabil Bentaleb is going back to Algeria for the African Cup of Nations.
But Edward, the potato pancakes over Hanukkah were fantastic.
They were.
There's still no pork in the stadium anywhere.
Nope.
The Yids are fired up.
Yid Army.
Go Spurs.
Oh, God.
Go. Except when you play Liverpool.
Exactly.
FA Cup was this weekend?
Yes, FA Cup was this weekend. A lot of matches happened. Manchester United defeated Yeovil Town 2-0. Chelsea beat somebody 3-0. Southampton drew with Ipswich Town 1-1. So they're going to have to do a replay, which I still don't understand why in the FA Cup.
It's called overtime, but whatever.
But and of course, we do have a little bit more soccer news. A man who made his debut on the Fox Sports this weekend.
Damn it.
Is one another. You spoke of the men who have the red hair, no souls. Alexi Lawless, one of our favorite Gingies. He's moved over to Fox Sports, and he's going to be the face of their World Cup coverage. It looks like
Fantastic.
And of course, this year,
Careful on that much.
2015, the World Cup happens this year.
The World Cup of Ladies.
No, it's just as we call it, the World Cup.
Of Ladies.
No, last year was the Men's World Cup. This is the World Cup.
Of Ladies.
Where the United States actually has a chance to win.
Because they got some ladies. Alex Morgan married over the weekend.
Yeah.
Great.
That was sad.
Great for everybody involved. But that crazy Hope Solo is still out there. Good times, America. Good times.
She did the body issue.
Oh, she did the body issue. That was a nice body of work that she has on her. Liverpool take on Wimbledon tomorrow, Monday, on
Monday Night Football.
Fox Sports.
I believe. We take Burnley.
That's right, Burnley.
Fellow Premier League team Burnley.
Burnley. We take on Wimbledon. And I'm not talking about the tennis players.
As we make our move to win a cup treble.
Oh, the treble.
Somebody actually asked on our NC Spurs Facebook page, so if we win a cup treble, do you think it'd be okay if we finish 5th or 6th in the league?
Well, it wouldn't matter at that point, because if you won the cup treble, you'd be in
Europe
anyway.
Yeah, exactly. We'd win the championship.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Really?
Care
Yes. We can finish 17th in the Premiership, and I'm okay with this.
Seriously, as long as you don't get relegated. How cool would it be to be relegated and play in Europe the next year? Oh, wait.
We'd be like Wigan.
Oh, wait, the Wigan did it.
Yeah.
It's not that cool.
Yeah.
All right. So that's your soccer this week, folks. Like we said, we didn't have anything local for you. We just did want to point out one thing. We have said goodbye to one of our own here in the Rocky Mount area.
Yes.
Andrew Ivins. Great servant.
Didn't even
of the
bother
show.
saying goodbye.
He didn't even say goodbye. When we found out where he was going,
Yeah.
Anyway. Andrew Ivins, who was with us here in Rocky Mount for about the last 5-6 months, came in July, August.
Yeah.
I think July. Andrew from the MIA, Miami.
Don't say those 3 letters.
305.
Bad airport juju.
305. Get worldwide. That's Andrew Ivins, y'all. Andrew came to us. Did fantastic work throughout the season.
Brilliant. Was
a regular here on the All New Sports Show. One of our absolute favorite people to talk to. Had a really great inside mind for recruiting.
Was our Telco Credit Union player of the game one time?
Was our Telco Credit Union player of the game. We can never take that away from him. He did take his shirt with
I
him.
hope he did.
I can't wait to see that.
Take it up in
on
South
the
Bend.
sidelines. That's right, folks. He has now accepted a job with Blue and Gold.
Yeah.
I know for years it's called Blue and Gold Illustrated. I'm figuring they still are, but I think they've gone more online.
Yes.
So it's part of the Rivals Network. So he is now working for those dadgum, I was about to say the actual word, those dadgum dirty Fighting Irish up in Notre Dame, who are right up there with Ohio State and Florida State in my book. But anyway, Andrew Ivins, you give me one reason to disdain just a little less. Yeah. The Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. We wish you nothing but luck.
Yes.
And now 2 of our favorite guests from the last year.
Nick Petrovich.
Well, Justin Haidt and now Andrew Ivins have moved on to the Rivals Network.
Yeah.
So,
just saying Rivals.
Rivals. Thanks, guys.
We're here.
Josh Wallfish and Jesse Notary, of course, going to pick up all the Telegram coverage for the time being. I have not talked to Jesse. Don't know what their next plan is to bring someone in. But, we've talked about before the Rocky Mountain Telegram is a absolute breeding ground. It is like Youngstown State was for college football coaches. It is the breeding ground of the next generation of fantastic
it has
sports
a tree
journalists.
now.
That's right. There is a tree. Jesse Notary has a great
He's the Bill Belichick.
He is the Bill Belichick.
Sports writer.
We're going to have to tell him that. He's the Bill Belichick of sports writing. So congratulations, Andrew Ivins. You weren't here long enough.
No.
I will miss you since you're gone. Don't forget about us and give us a call once in a while. Don't Big Thomas and not answer our calls. Or when I send you something asking for the all-conference team.
Oops.
Anyway, forgiven.
Yeah.
Forgiven.
Yeah.
Anyway, Edward, anything else to add this week before we go to our extended Bishop's Corner?
No, I think it's
all right. Next week
we will be doing Hunt versus Rocky Mount in our first Big East Conference basketball game of the year.
And Ed, I think you know who I'm picking because I believe in Rocky Mount.
Yes. Yes,
You can see that over there. Cool.
Yeah.
We'll be picking the capstone votes, and we'll be there giving completely unbiased sides of the ball game. Trust us, we're good when we get there. We don't really talk about basketball much. We talk about other things. But it'll be fun.
We'll have a Minnesota, of course, that will go up online.
That's right. Minnesota will go up online. You also get that at halftime of the game next week. Just to update you. If anything local does happen, to my knowledge, still hasn't. So we'll see. All right. Big thanks tonight to one named producer Lee. I am purposely not mentioning the other white elephant in the room.
That's fair.
Who is at
It
this
doesn't
point
matter. He gets his name in the
pointing
credits.
at me.
That's all we got to do contractually.
Yeah, whatever, Mac. Desi Mac. We'll call him Desi Mac. Folks, forever green, I'm Wes Bradshaw. Let's get ready to head out and see Roger Taylor. It's the anniversary of the
Roger Taylor Center.
Taylor Center, that's right.
Over at Wesleyan College. So that is going to be our Bishop's Corner for this Sunday night. And it was a nice celebration of all that's gone on. It was just before the basketball game Wesleyan played this Saturday. So let's head on over to that area. Yeah, were you going to say something?
Booyah.
Oh, yes.
And good night, Peru.
Rest in peace, dude. Yeah. I'm gonna miss it. What was your favorite Stu Scott moment?
I don't really know. Booyah!
You'll see my favorite Stu Scott moment in the credits.
Word.
It was one of the. I'll give you a hint. It was one of the This Is Sports Center commercials.
I can't wait. Actually, one of my favorites was when Tim Meadows played him on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, with the
Booyah!
Ray Romano.
Ray Romano, sweet sassy molassie.
Yeah, that's good.
And other quotes that I've tried to steal over the years.
Yes, we did do that a lot.
Good times. What's your favorite Sports Center commercial?
You'll actually see that. That is actually my. I will say this: if I can't pick the one that's going to air later, I would also say the Y2K test one where Charlie Steiner runs out.
Follow me to freedom. Yeah, that's the
it's so
greatest
good.
one ever.
I'm trying to think of any other great ones. I mean, there's been a lot over the years.
It's amazing.
Do you have a favorite?
The one where David Ortiz put on Jorge Posada's hat and
Wally.
Wally. Wait, man, where you going? That actually hurt my feelings pretty bad too when he put on that Yankee hat. I did not much.
I like to imagine that after filming concluded, he took it off and spit in it and put it back on Posada's head.
Posada's little peanut head.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I like to imagine my Jesus at a Leonard Skinner concert rocking out.
Oh, dear 6 pound and 8 ounce baby Jesus.
So they were Bullet Club, huh?
Are you going to talk about that for the on the podcast?
Too sweet. Well, the Wrestle War 9 did take place at about 2 a.m. this morning our time in the Tokyo Dome.
Yeah.
So I do need to get actual results from that, where AJ Styles was in action, as well as the rest of the Bullet Club. Bullet Club.
Bullet Club. You're going to have to explain that on the All New Sports of the podcast.
We'll throw these up for Bullet Club, Ed.
You mean the Matthew McConaughey
Too
ones?
sweet. It's like an old Wolfpack thing.
Yeah.
NC State thinks they invented this. It's called the NWO, people. Get a grip.
Yeah.
Too sweet.
Yep.
You know, and I believe in Rocky Mountain. Glad I found this old.
Oh, this isn't awkward at all.
Gary. Gary, my man.
I have missed you, Gary.
Gary, my man.
Gary
just stayed here, kept watch over everything.
Yeah. He's a good caretaker.
Good caretaker.
Very good caretaker.
Much like Roy Hodgson never has been.
No.
Because he's horrible.
Okay, can we really do this? Like who do you want to see then take over for Roy Hodgson? I'm assuming.
Oh,
he's
Harry
gonna-
Redknapp. I want.
You want Ari?
I want the craziest crap that can ever happen to England. We're not going to win a World Cup. We might as well have fun with it.
You don't know you're never going to win a World Cup.
No, yeah, dude. I mean, dude, can you just imagine Harry Kane and Berahino at the top of the spear?
That'd be pretty fun.
With Harry having Raheem Sterling playing off of the back and Sturridge coming on as a super sub.
If he's healthy.
Well, I mean, I believe with
the bad juju would go
with
away.
Roy gone, he would be.
Yeah.
That's what I tell myself anyway. I'd take Harry.
Yeah.
Or Klinsman.
No, he wouldn't go back to England.
Why not? He's already.
Like, what's he gonna do? He's not gonna. The development is already there in England.
Yeah, but still, what could be bigger? I mean, it's kind of like it's kind of like taking the It's kind of like going and winning a World Series with the Red Sox or the Cubs. I mean,
Yeah.
what could be a bigger payoff than
Winning it with the United States.
No, because the U.S. just started caring.
Well, yeah.
You've got a soccer mad culture in England. Think about this, Ed. I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, but anyway, what would he think if it took a German to win England the World Cup? He would be at the same time the most beloved plus the most hated man in England all at once. It would be wonderful because English can't ever figure out who they hate or who they like.
Yeah.
Mostly who they hate. Mostly who they like because they hate a lot of people.
Though.
They don't like the Germans.
No,
but we're really warming up to Emery Chan at Liverpool right now.
I've noticed that. I saw that. What was it? What was I watching?
We're playing him in central defense now.
Yeah.
Drink some of this soda.
It's delicious. Yeah. So I saw you. He and Stevie were actually on the field at the same time.
That's right.
How's that working out? Because I thought at first that they were supposed to be like complementary pieces. Like one would go in.
Well, what's happened is they've started playing Chan more as a central defensive player now.
Oh, okay.
Because everyone else there sucks. So
Yeah.
hey, why not? He
Yeah.
played it for the German under-21s. He did a very good job. So Liverpool's just giving him a run of games. I believe he's the long-term replacement for Stevie. So I don't think you'll see him out there forever.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just right now, you've got an asset. You might as well give that asset a chance and play that asset. So that's what they're doing.
He was what, 21?
20, 21, 22, somewhere there. He's a youngster. He's a youngster.
Yep.
So, Berahino. Who's going to get him?
I don't know.
Us or y'all? Or no one?
Probably no one.
Probably no one.
Judging by our 2 seasons, no one.
Tony Pulis loves his electric strikers.
Yeah.
He loves to score the ball.
Yeah, how about Tony Pulis coming back? So how bad was the situation at Crystal Palace this year where he'll just jump in like this?
No way. You're telling West Brom. Crystal Palace is where Alan Pardue just jumped in. How bad was it?
No, I'm talking about how bad was it last year for Pulis to leave?
Well, apparently he wanted money and they didn't want to pay him. How bad is it at Newcastle to be top half of the table and to leave to go to Crystal Palace in a relegation fight?
Yeah, that's what Pardue does. He dusts off his Manager of the Year trophy and says, "We'll bring this team back."
He says, "I'm gonna Pardue it."
Yes. Just Pardue it.
Just Pardue it. That's very nice.
Why do we think he's French?
Because he just gets all the Frenchmen.
Because he's Alain Pardue.
Pardue. He finds the Frenchman.
He didn't find Divock Origi though.
Oh, he's Dutch.
That's why.
Well,
Even though he's playing in France.
Yeah, but he's a dirty Dutch.
See, okay, you said you didn't want to pay the money for Origi. Why not?
I don't want him to come in. I mean, he's 19 years old. He's not going to solve our problems right now.
But couldn't you get him? Might it be then a less pressure situation to get him some Premier League reps?
Well, see, I would actually like to bring him in over the summer, let him blood in with the team, get all
You're a
those
fan of
summer.
blooding him in.
I mean, she's fan blood in, but here's the problem: is last year in the World Cup year, we didn't have time to blood all these guys in.
Yeah, that's true.
Then Lallana comes hurt, Chan comes in hurt, or not hurt, but Chan gets hurt very early because of his Germany duty. Of course, Sturridge's, and things just happen. I'd like to bring him in the summer, let him become comfortable in the team, not throw him out there in the first match and expect him to go out and score a hat trick, and just work him into the team. Because of course next year you're hoping for a healthy Sturridge. Excuse me.
There you go. That's a fun bet to take.
Ooh, I do what I can.
I'd love to see what 365 has the odds on in that one.
Okay, let's at least get him through September next year.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Before we talk injuries, before he takes his first sabbatical. You bring him in with that.
Yeah.
I still believe Liverpool's going to do more work in the transfer market when it comes to strikers.
January or summer transfer?
I think you could see something in January. January really interests me. Berahino's out there. But once again, Berahino's one of those, yes, he has proven something so far in the Premier League, but he's not a guy that you're expecting to be top of his game for a few years.
Yeah.
Liverpool needs somebody to step in and be able to play. I think the biggest answer is a young man named Lacazette, who, where's he? I believe he's at Marseille. He's somewhere over there.
Sounds right.
He's somewhere over there in that France place.
Yes.
Another Frenchman. But he, 23 years old, is the leading scorer right now in Ligue 1. But he's a very good player. This player we were connected to back in the summer. For whatever reason, didn't bring him in because we got Ballo.
There you go. Of course, other news that came out, it looks like
Please get rid of it.
Schneiderlin will not be coming over from Southampton to anybody during this January transfer window. It looks like Morgan Schneiderlin is going to stay right there. He was a bigger Spurs target. He was a bigger Spurs target. We really could have used him.
I think he's played his way out of a Spurs target.
Really?
As in, I think I've been hearing word that like the PSGs, Real Madrids of the world are starting to take notice of Schneiderlin. Maybe the Chelsea's, Man United's.
Well, when we win the Cup treble this year, and if you want to play Champions League football next year, you come on over to Spurs.
Don't go to Manchester United, Real Madrid, really. Who wants that?
Hey, you know who else went to Real Madrid? No, he went to Barcelona.
Who that?
I was gonna say Zlatan, but he went to Barcelona.
Yeah, but that was a nightmare year. That was just a bad fit. Zlatan's a peacock. You gotta let him fly.
You should read some of the things he has to say about Pep Guardiola in that book.
I've heard they were scathing.
Oh, they're very scathing. He also paints a very nice image of Mourinho. Surprisingly so. I was like, I thought Mourinho hated
We
you.
had great success at Inter together.
Oh, yeah.
You know who he paints the best picture of?
Who?
Zlatan.
Yeah.
I haven't even read the book, and I can tell you that. Nobody loves Zlatan quite like Zlatan.
I love it when it's one of the, according to Zlatan, one of the last conversations, when he's going on his way to Barca, he sees Mourinho in the hotel as he's leaving Inter, and one of the last things Mourinho calls back to him is, Zlatan, you are going to go win Champions League, right? He's like, yes. He's like, well, Mourinho goes, well, we are going to win it. I'm sorry. And then Mourinho went out and won the Champions League. So
Mourinho knows his stuff. You know what else Mourinho said?
What?
We're going to lose the Spurs 5-3 over the weekend. I did not say that. I've never said that.
My hands were shaking at halftime. I could not. You have to understand, folks. Cheering for Spurs against the top 4 team is like cheering for the Sandcastle to beat the coming Tide.
It's like cheering for the chocolate chip pizza at Hunter Hill Pizza Inn to last more than 2 minutes.
Or the Northern Nash game.
It's like cheering. Never mind. I'm not going to say what I was about to say. Never mind.
Good.
Never mind. No.
Yeah, it's the beginning of the tape, but yeah.
But yes, I completely understand what you mean.
So just go to the beginning of the tape. It should be just start from there.
Live television is on.
I mean, we don't even really have to play it now. We went an hour, but I said we were going to, so we selected.
Yeah, we said we were going to. And this wasn't really an hour. This has kind of been 15 minutes of drivel.
Wow. If you've ever wondered, even though you kind of saw it last week, but more what the podcast actually sounds like, this is more the podcast.
Yeah, once again, not cursing quite any.
Thank goodness.
And once again, wearing a shirt.
Yeah.
I can
You
change
got a very
that.
nice t-shirt underneath that, I would say that.
I do have one today.
Nice Frank Castle.
It's not my Macho Man t-shirt. That's gonna be the new go-to.
Yeah.
Macho Man Randy Savage. Oh yeah. So,
Are we ready to go? Yes? No?
how about that weather? Crazy. Gonna be 27 on Thursday.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding at all either, folks.
No, I saw your post on Facebook.
27 on Thursday.
Could be nuts.
Can't wait for that.
Climate change.
I love the good old cold weather. They're gonna.
Just think how much better it's going to be, though, when the weather comes back and you're driving around Greenville.
Oh, we'll be happy. Windows down. College Hill being College Hill.
Ice Cube playing. It was a good day.
I might not even have to use my AK. No guarantees on that, though, folks.
Yeah, it depends on what part of Greenville you drive.
It's a hard gangsta life that I lead.
Yeah.
Yep.
You go through Brook Valley a lot.
So you ride through Copper Beach after dark. No,
Really?
sir.
No. I used to live in Brook Valley, you know.
Oh, nice place.
Oh, it's a very nice place.
No, it's not. Okay.
What are you talking about? Of course it's a nice place.
Hi, kid.
You better kid. Steve Logan lived there.
Gotta love that. You ever gone through Turtle Creek?
No, what's that?
You hang out Turtle Creek quite a bit. I had a good friend who lived there. Yeah. Kind of like right between Charles and Arlington. Runs down there past the mall. Lovely, lovely.
Wait, which mall?
The mall. Main mall.
The one by East Carolina?
Yeah, the main mall.
Okay.
Greenville, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just go down there. Have some lovely 2-bedroom condominiums.
Yeah. Are we ready, Lee? Okay, yeah, just go. This is the celebration at Wesleyan College from yesterday. Enjoy.
Have you enjoyed this?
Bishop's Court.
And this doesn't do anything but tremendously enhance that goal of ours, which is undergraduate admissions. You take a look at beyond the Taylor Center, you have the Roger Taylor Men's Invitational Basketball Tournament. You have the Athletic Gala, his sponsorship and involvement in the Athletic Gala. And when we started raising money for the football program by having game sponsorships 2 years ago, Roger was the first one to step up and say, I'll take homecoming. And that was one of the more expensive sponsorships. So he and Gail have always been there for us. When you take a look at academics, I think the crowning jewel for us and for them is the honors program. If you're going to build a great school, you have to have a college for all students, but you must also recognize the ability of those who can really do exceptionally well. And so Gail and Roger stepped up and created the Roger and Gail Davenport Taylor Honors Program, where our best students not only have exposure to separate sections in the traditional curriculum, but also some non-traditional offerings by title and by professor. It gives them that great experience to truly think outside the box on more than one occasion. And recently, Roger and Gail, in collaboration with Dan and Brenda Crocker, have created now what's known as the Taylor Crocker Honors Program. And with that collaboration, Dr. Crocker brought into this idea that Roger and Gail started an outward bound initiative. So every student that's in the honors program truly has an opportunity to spend a week outdoors in the wilderness to get that experiential value of what it's like to be educated at North Carolina Wesleyan College. Aside from that, in the honors program, there are separate scholarships that go toward these students, and they also have their own lounge and study area up in the Pearsall wing of the academic building. Lastly, in our area of college advancement, I have absolutely no hesitation in telling you that Roger and Gail are our most prolific alumni donors. Their footprints are all over this college. They know they don't do it themselves, but they're certainly gracious in being involved as they are. They obviously were involved in projects which we've just talked about ad infinitum. They support annually our giving efforts, which is called the Wesleyan Fund, and they're also involved in giving to the school through planned gifts. Roger has stepped up and he's been the tournament sponsor of the Wesleyan Cup, which is our spring outing to raise money. This is the 5th consecutive year. Last year, after a hiatus of not publishing the Wesleyan magazine for 9 years, Roger stepped forward and became the sponsor, and Gail became the sponsor of the Wesleyan magazine, which was a home run for us and truly got us back in the throes of our alumni and friends of the college. And lastly, they stepped up to be co-chairman of the Strength of Heart campaign, which was our initial effort to raise $20 million in a comprehensive capital campaign. We surpassed the $5+ million mark, and we'll continue to move forward. With the new growth of enrollment, priorities are beginning to shift, and if you leave down that way, if you leave going north before you go out the front, you'll see that we have a new dorm being constructed because of the growth of undergraduate enrollment. But I was making a few notes. It hit me all of a sudden. To add to this idea of the Taylors being straight A 4.0 people for us, I thought about every time for 10 years that I've walked in the office, they've always been available. And they really are the epitome of the altruistic advocate for North Carolina Wesleyan College. Straight A's, athletics, academics, advancement, availability, and being altruistic advocates. So this is a special day. It's well deserved, and we sincerely appreciate everything you have done over these many, many years to support the students at North Carolina Wesleyan College. Thank you.
I'm John Thompson, Director of Athletics and head men's basketball coach, and I can tell you that as the basketball coach, I'm recruiting all the time, trying to find the next Roger Taylor. But at this time, I'd like to ask my team to come up. They've got a small token that they would like to present to Roger. You may know they have a game to play in just a little while, so they're going to come up, make this presentation, and they're going to exit. But Roger, if you would come up. DJ Weaver.
Mr. Taylor, we want to present you with this plaque. It's a plaque of the standards that we live by day in and day out. And you, as part of the basketball family, we want to thank you and commemorate you for the things that you've done for us to do what we do today. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Go out and win this afternoon. Get out of here.
Thank you. Before I step aside, I have one other thing that I'd like to present to Roger. And I'm not going to go over every point that Michael so well just presented, but clearly Roger affects every corner of this campus. And without question here in athletics, we recognize that, appreciate that. And on behalf of everything that you and Gail do for the college, the city of Rocky Mount has proclaimed, in recognition of outstanding service and contributions to North Carolina Wesleyan College, January 3rd, 2015 is hereby designated as Roger G. and Gail D. Taylor Day in the city of Rocky Mount, and its observance is commended to our citizens. Congratulations.
Overflow.
Good afternoon. This is a great day for our college. I'm Dewey Clark, the president here at North Carolina Wesleyan College. And as Coach Thompson was mentioning, it's hard to recruit a Roger Taylor. You just don't go out and do that every day. And when you recruit a prospective student, and I know a little bit about this because I worked in the admissions office here, when you recruit a prospective student, you never know exactly what you're going to get. You really don't. And you go out and you try to recruit the best, but it's hard to determine heart and potential when you look at a high school kid or a junior college transfer. And Roger, when he came here, little did we know what was going to happen. Little did we know that one day we were going to be standing here in a building called the Taylor Center, commemorating Roger, who not only graduated from here and set a whole lot of records, school records in basketball, but has been a loyal supporter to our college for as long as he has. Today, there's a term in sports that's probably overused, but I think it's fitting for Roger, and it's game changer. Roger was a game changer on the court. He set a lot of school records. We won a lot of basketball games. He was a true game changer for North Carolina Wesleyan College. And little did we know he was going to continue to be a game changer for the rest of his career. For the rest of his career for us, he's been a game changer. And that's hard to duplicate, and they don't come along very often. Roger graduated from here, had a distinguished career, graduated from here, went to work here, and then left and has had a distinguished career in financial planning and insurance and that industry. So he's been a game changer in a number of different ways. And I know when I first got on the board, one of the people that I really looked up to was Roger Taylor. I just felt like Roger loved the college and was dedicated, and I wanted to duplicate that. So Roger's meant a whole lot to me. He's meant a whole lot to the college, and he's been a game changer in more than one way, on and off the court. As Mike said, when you look at this college and you look at the academic side or athletic side, Roger's name is all over it. His footprint is all over it. And, you know, it's hard to give Roger all the recognition he deserves without also mentioning Gail. You know, Dr. Clores told us many times that behind every good man, there's a good woman. Well, we also are very fortunate that we have Gail to support us too. Thank you, Gail, for all you do for the college. You've been a great supporter too. So Roger's been a game changer for us in many, many different ways, on and off the court. We want to thank him today for all he's done for the college, all the support, all the generosity, all the times that Wesleyan people have gone over to his office and he's listened and cared about us and cared about the college. Roger, thank you. Thank you so much for everything that you've done for us. We're truly blessed to have Roger here. And whoever recruited Roger, in North Carolina. Whoever recruited you, we should make sure that we talk to that person and we find the secret, because there are Roger Taylors out there. Not many of them. They're few and far between. But we need to can't bottle that and try to do it again, try to duplicate it again. So we're blessed. Roger, thank you so much. On behalf of North Carolina Wesleyan College, thank you for everything that you've done for the college. You truly are a game changer, and I'm glad that you came here and changed our game. So without further ado, I want Gail and Roger to come up, and it's only fitting that in this area here we call the Taylor Center, that we have something here that commemorates your support of the college. If you come forward. This is going to hang here in honor of Roger and Gail.
Got my good side thing.
So I can truly say North Carolina Wesleyan College wouldn't be the same without Roger. Again, thank you very much. Please join us for a reception here in the conference room before the ball game today, and please join us also for the basketball game at 2 o'clock today. And as Roger said, we're going to go out and win today. Thank you very much.
Thank you. If I was at home and that was like, this is, I don't know what to say. I think the best thing I can say is I was watching Sandlots with a couple of grandchildren this morning. And Wendy Peppercorn. And the scene was there, and as she was resurrecting him, and they were walking away, the song played, Magic Moment. Well, this is certainly a magic moment for me, because when you do things without any intention of reciprocation, it's amazing how good things can happen. I call many of you friends. And hopefully all of you are. You don't have to tell me if you aren't. But the thank yous go to many. The athletic department, the development department, with many working diligently for this. It's always. And of course I have 7 children, 10 grandchildren, some on the way. It's amazing. I have a mother-in-law that actually loves me. It don't get any better. I have a coach that recruited me out of high school, and I chose to go to Lewisburg College, and that was a true great decision on my part to go to Lewisburg College, because it gave me the foundation. And then out of junior college, I had the options to go pretty much anywhere I wanted to, because I was a pretty good student. Fortunately, I could shoot the hoops too. But I chose to come here because of Don Scaff. And because I wanted, Calvin, do I say it, shop locally? I grew up in this area, and the best choice I made was to stay in the Rocky Mount area. It's a great place to call home. It has great citizens, and I don't know if you noticed, but recently Rocky Mount was voted the most charitable city in the state of North Carolina. That means per capita we give more than anybody else on an average. How many knew that? Well, Ron, isn't it true? I just want to make sure that I'm on the same page. But, as I've always said, it's not the trophies and plaques that you hang on the wall. It's the legacy you leave behind. And it may be through children, it may be through grandchildren, it may be through gifts, it may be through my very first client is here today. Jeff Collins, who has gone on in the legislature now. He's also an advisor. Lloyd Nelson and Michael Pratt were, much before my time, but they did come here. They've been good citizens. My pastor is here. I look around and see Mark LaBranch, who's president of Lewisburg College, and he still lets me come on campus, but during short windows. Michael Pratt and all, but it's just wonderful to see so many of my staff and employees, so many family members, because this is a special day. And my lone sister. Well, at least on Jeopardy the other night, it was one letter, E, and he got the Lone Ranger. Did y'all see that? That's pretty good. If it was Xanadu something, I'd be wondering. But you know, most of you, now, Dr. Clark comes from Pollock. I was actually born in Pollock. Moved to Nash County when I was in the half of first grade and grew up in Nash County. But all my family knew was hard work, knew poverty. But my parents, even though they were much in poverty, knew one thing: the more you give, the more you get. It's biblical. I have lived by that. And I probably could be a pretty rich man if I wanted to be, but what is richness? It's not dollars that stack up, it's relationships. Ken Mullen, our chairman of the deacon, he looks over me, he knocks on 3 times. He gives me calls. I have a call waiting, so I don't have to answer. But, you know, it's just, I can call so many names and everything. The honors program is certainly something that I'm so happy that we did, and I am even more pleased that Dan and Brenda Crocker have joined me, because this is one of the best small college honors program in the state of North Carolina. Right, Dr. Crocker and Mrs. Crocker? I mean, it offers everything. And when we brought in, 41, where's the president? Is he left?
Nope.
Did we bring in 41 honors top students with a 4.12 grade GPA and a 1,200 foot? That's pretty good for a small Nash County college. And these were ones that were accepted at Duke and Davidson, but opted to come here. And there's no better experience, in my opinion, than a small college. Just, it gives you so much leadership. And Wesleyan has always been one to give those that sometimes are less fortunate an opportunity. Because without Lewisburg and Wesleyan, I promise you, my parents could have never sent me to college. When I started getting letters when I was a sophomore in high school and junior in high school about going to college, I didn't even know what road went to any college. So, you know, it was just amazing what these two fine institutions have meant to me and my wife and I and my family, because I'm not giving corporate American dollars away. I'm giving my children's inheritance away. So I appreciate y'all being here. I really appreciate you being here. But, you know, and the athletics program, these young men and women represent our area. A lot stay here. They go to church here. They go to work here, business. And the coaches have a tough job, because I think if I had to coach today, I don't know, suicide maybe? Even with the big contracts, I just don't know. But you'll never know how much I appreciate all of you being here. You'll never know how much I appreciate Lewisburg College and Wesleyan College and the Rocky Mount community, because the Rocky Mount community has been so good to so many of us. Yet we're willing to sit in a restaurant and talk about it. Get a life. Go out and tell them, get a life. I mean, go somewhere. I can take you some places that you would really like to get out of. But it's been good to all of us. And I see my buddy Mike Holloman, who's the athletic director up at Lewisburg College, and has done so much. They are playing pretty good right now. and Lucy Allen, one of the trustees that I'm on the board, and I'm probably overlooking my buddy David Joyner. I mean, I could call each one of you by name. My lovely Sia. But you know, it's just nice to have so many acquaintances and friends, and I think I could call on any of you, and you'd be willing to help me. I appreciate, you know, my brother's widow being here. He died in an unexpected death, but she has 3 great sons that are here with grandchildren and all. You know, it's things like that that make a difference. Because I think about those that don't have a church home. Who do they call? Who do they have around them? If you graduate from a college and don't support it, who do you go to? You probably see most of them down at the prison cell, because you aren't going to get any real good advice from people who don't have some type of bonding and relationship. Lord and I have served a long time on the board, and I may be taking more time. Y'all might be ready to eat, but it's my day. I mean, the mayor just said something. But you know, it really is. Life is so short, and just like that, it can be over. Let us not check out, not feeling that we have done everything we can to help one another. One thing, my parents, who were poor sharecroppers, but I didn't know the difference. Everybody in my neighborhood was poor. Didn't know the difference. And I think that was a thing I wouldn't trade. But let us be mindful that it is short. Let's take every moment. It's just as easy to say something nice. Don't listen to this, honey. It's just as nice to say something nice as it is to say something that's not nice. But today, I love y'all. I appreciate you being here. And hopefully, when I started this journey, I never dreamed that I would be standing here. But somebody special made it happen, and I appreciate those people that did. Thank you so much.
Again, we appreciate your attendance. There is lunch set up in the conference room behind you. I would be remiss if I didn't say that I want to thank Bob Skelton for being the point person on this project, from the development office, his assistant Donna Wheeler, and in athletics Martha Proctor and Ricky Ridge. So I could recognize them as well. Gail, do y'all want to lead the way? Okay, we'll let Gail and her family and Roger go lead the way.
Men have no fear. Team crossing. Do your best and get your screens and your tests. Team it up, Lord. Keep it Bible. That's for sure.
Our next team is ready. Welcome, King's Dream Team.
Who are we? Who are we?
If you love our players, do not
How about you? Fight like Trojans till cancer is mud. We'll give it all, God, till we nip it in the bud.
Team is ready. They are won by a hardwood shirt.
When I pass it to you, just give it right back. All right, now give it back. Shooting. Pass the ball. Pass the ball. Play defense. Get on here. Get on here.
Being a big buddy allows us to give back, and you know, it feels pretty good.
Get out. Walk it off. Your parents got the permission